Welcome back to this men's colognes channel. Today I've got 9 colognes that would stop me personally in my tracks if I was walking down the street and a guy smelled like this.
How you doing?
First up, I've got a fragrance that is so strong. It is very manly but classy at the same time, and I do like those classy colognes personally. I think they are just as captivating, just as sexy as some, like, you know, juicy, those sort of fragrances. And this one for me is Bohemian Infusion from Thameen. This fragrance, it's green, it's citrusy at the top, it's bitter, it's got this really nice blue cologne vibe, but more blue cologne in terms of like Dior Sauvage Elixir, those like green notes. This is a bit greener than Dior Sauvage Elixir, and it's just, man, I love it. It's so herbal, so strong, and just smells like a garden, but like a herbal garden, or like a barbershop, like a really exclusive barbershop. Just smelling this, just it's so good. This is a sort of a fragrance that would be like, whoa, like this guy, I'm intrigued. He knows his colognes, and he's not wearing just some boring, you know, fragrance that everybody wears. He's like wearing a good fragrance of really high quality. You can smell it, it's seeping through this bottle. Amazing packaging as well. I love the packaging. Another scent that I know I'll be just raving about, and I'm sorry if this might be repetitive, but this cologne has just come out last Friday and I adore this, the new L'Oréal Parfum from Guerlain. I am sold. I'm like dying. It's this fragrance is it's the best. This, you can go anywhere and people will be like, whoa, what are you wearing? I would like turn around, run for my life and be asking like, what cologne are you wearing? This is amaretto, patchouli, bit of vanilla. It's dense, but it's not sweet. It's a perfect, like in the middle fragrance for men that is sensual, that is romantic, that is just rich smelling, everything. Quality is amazing, longevity is also amazing, and projection is also very good. So this one is just a gem.
So good.
Next up is a fragrance that is a badass fragrance. It's super strong, and I do like really strong fragrances. I think especially if you're trying to get somebody's attention, if you're like walking down the street, like your fragrance has to be on point, has to be strong, has to be a conversation starter, and this one is for sure it. It is Roja Parfums Harrods Aoud. This is my favorite oud fragrance from Roja. Not kidding, I'm just really sorry that it's only available at Harrods, but maybe it just makes it more special. You've got a story to tell. It's, you know, it's one of a kind. It's not really something that everybody will be wearing, but man, this is a potent beast. It's a dry oud. It's not an animalic sweet oud. This is a fresh, dry, juicy oud. To me, there is something so good at the beginning, especially this citrusiness. It's just mouth-watering. It's so good, and then it settles into this really woody, beautiful oud. I believe it's got like myrrh in there as well. It's got loads of notes, because Roja loves to put like all the notes in there, but essentially it just smells like a super dry, masculine, woody oud. It literally makes my mouth water. There is something about this that I just go crazy for, and I don't talk about it that much because it's hard to get. But if you're somewhere that Harrods ship to, promise you this is a compliment getter. And not even, you don't have to be a fragrance connoisseur to love this oud, because this gets compliments like crazy. So amazing one. Next up is another designer fragrance, and I love my Le Parfum Intense fragrance. This to me is the star of the line. I do like a couple from the line, to be honest, but this is still my favorite. I know that the Elixir has made like, you know, huge impression, and the Beau Paradise as well, but to me this is still the most sexy fragrance out of the line. The other ones are like fun or fun for going out, but this is like, if you really want to make an impression, this is the one that I would choose. Man, it's just this mintiness and this light powdery vanilla. It's to die for. It's so sensual. It's like this perfect introverted fragrance. It's projecting, but in this like soft, very calm way. There's something so incredibly sexy about it. I personally love the scent and think that this is the one to get from the line the most. Another scent that is very inviting. This is a scent that I would love to smell on a guy if it was just walking past him, because I love tobacco on men. I think it's one of those notes that is just specifically on men. It smells absolutely amazing. I don't know if it's like their body chemistry or whatever, but Harrods from Parfums de Marly, it's one of those fragrances that has been around for a while. The vanilla, the juicy red fruitiness of the tobacco, the spiciness, the leveriness. There's like this texture of the scent. Man, it's to die for. And I would say with this one, overspray this one a lot, because you want to really be smelled, and this fragrance has a tendency to sit a bit closer to the skin, but it's good because you can overspray it and smell really good, but you can also wear it for those bit closer sort of encounter situations, and it won't be, you know, too much and off-putting. So I think this is a nice fragrance to wear. It's gorgeous. Next we've got something in a round box. It's actually not this fragrance, but I've put it here just for reference so I don't forget. But I wanted to mention a fragrance from this line from Dior called Bois D'Argent. I mean, this fragrance to me is one of the most underrated fragrances from the line. It's so masculine smelling. It's really fresh but woody at the same time. It's got those elements of like a good shower fresh fragrance, but it's not quite that. It has got facets of that, but it's also woody and a bit creamy. It's fresh, and it's got cypress in there, a bit of iris as well, juniper berries. So it smells just fresh and like you're walking through a forest, and you've got this lovely like greenness in this scent. It's just so good, and I love the smell from the Dior Privé line, and I think it's the most everyday appropriate from the line and most easy to wear. I think every guy would absolutely love that scent on them, and I would go to town with this, like spray it loads and be like one of the best smelling guys in a room. Next up we've got a side story fragrance. It's called 4 p.m. Matinee. It's got a nice marble top, and it's one of those fragrances that is a bit more, I would say, out there. This is a scent that is ambery, that is a bit chocolatey, woody. It reminds me a bit of Black Orchid from Tom Ford. It's one of those fragrances that is like, I'm here, I'm to take charge. It's one of those scents. So this is why it would get my attention, because there's a huge scent cloud around you when you wear a fragrance like this. And this one in particular, I love that greenness, a bit of bitterness, that chocolatiness. It really is amazing. It's super captivating in a setting where, you know, you're kind of like out there on the street. There's loads of scents around, but this one would really like cut through everything and be a very strong and great impression on me. Another super strong scent and a real killer, a woman killer, Oud For Greatness from Initio. This is still one of those scents that, man, it's so good. It's so strong. It's a oud, saffron, super spicy, patchouli. It's great. It's one of those fragrances that to me has got like this oud wood from Tom Ford oudiness, but then they made it like rich and moorish and expensive. Love this. This was the first ever oud fragrance I actually got into, and then I got into like proper oud fragrances, because this is, some might argue, not a proper oud fragrance, but I think it's a very crowd pleasing, projecting oud, and I love it for that. I think you can't fault it for being so crowd pleasing. It's really like a head turner fragrance. It's powerful. It just shows that you've got confidence to pull off a scent like this. I'll link any discounts I've got for any of them down in the description, also links for them, and sometimes I've got like special deals or, you know, anything like that. I always put in the description for you to shop, and samples, because the niche ones, I know sometimes it's hard to commit to a full bottle straight off the bat, so I love to link samples so you can get yourself, like, you know, every single fragrance from this list and test it out and see what you love. Next up is a fragrance that I personally adore. I know that many people adore this. This is a scent that every time somebody comes into my fragrance room, I show it to them 100% every time. Like, success, love it, whoever it is, it just doesn't matter. And I personally love this scent, Armani Code Parfum. This is a designer scent, but man, is it good. It's super projecting, super long lasting. I've got a thing for spearmint, obviously, for this mintiness at the top, and this fragrance has got it. I also love the eau de toilette. It's got even more of that like fresh spearmintiness. But man, this scent, it's mysterious, it's moody, it's extremely sexy to me. This scent, it's just amazing. Like, if you want to design a scent that is good for every day, but it is damn sexy, this is so good. I would definitely turn my head for this particular fragrance. It's just amazing. It's such a crowd pleasing fragrance, but man, is it good. Actually, I'm going to ask you, have you ever like run after somebody, like some guy, and be like, what are you wearing? Or one of your friends wore something and you were like, man, what is it? Do they tell you the truth or do they lie? Because I've heard some men lie because they don't want to give the secret out. So let me know in the comments, what is that situation? Or if you're asked by somebody like, what is that cologne? Would you tell them? Or would you just say, no, I'm not telling you? Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.